video here. I just felt the need to go live and talk about what's actually helping me overcome mental issues with trading. And I think a lot of us know that psychology is part of the game, right? But it's I apologize if this thing is all messed up. I'm trying to turn it vertical. Doesn't seem to want to. But most of us are just kind of glossing over it. And even though you're trading and you're, aware that you might have certain issues like revenge trading, over trading, maybe just even not feeling confident in your strategy. There's all these different things that we're all dealing with, and everybody's journey in that aspect is different. It's unique, right? Everybody's got their own issues to resolve. And what's helping me right now, what's really helping me to overcome trading issues, mental blocks, whatever, is to trade extremely small. Like it takes away the pressure, the feeling like I have to be right. I can't lose. I have to be right. It takes it away when you're only trading one share at a time. Hey, what's up, V? It's it seems so silly and so ridiculous. Like I laugh sometimes, like even telling people, because it's like, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm trading one share of whatever ETF today, or one share of, Nvidia or Tesla or something. And it's like, people look at you like, why? It doesn't even seem worth it. No, it's the system we're trying to work on here. It's the system of overcoming our blocks, our issues, our mental habits, by making it so easy on ourselves that it's to the point of ridiculous. And for me, it was just deciding to go down to one freaking share. Like, take away the stress. I typically don't trade anything that costs more than $100 when I'm doing one share at a time, because it just seems easier that way. If you have a small account, I think all you need is like $250 in this account because you're trading one share at a time. Yeah, V, it makes sense that the more money involved, the more stress, because there's so many like things that flare up for us around money. It's like, if you put too much in and you lose some, then you're like mad at yourself. If you don't take profit when you feel like you should have and you missed out, then you're mad. If you don't just follow your rules, then there's all these like feelings that can come up. You can be angry, you can be greedy, you can be fearful, you can be worried, you can be just having a heck of a time mentally. And it takes away the fun of trading when you're just like constantly battling your inner issues, right? So the last 3 days, the last 3 trading days, and you guys will see updates on my channel for each of these days individually, where I'm reviewing the trades and I'm talking about, what worked and what didn't. So far I just have day 1 up, but day 2 will drop tonight at 6 o'clock Pacific. It's like 3 Eastern. And day 3 will drop tomorrow, Saturday. But it's, it's just 3 days in, and I can see such a difference of, first of all, treating this not as I'm playing, but I'm taking it for serious. And I'm not trying to, like prove anything. I'm really just trying to work on the mechanics of it. Like, just get in the market when my signals are there. Don't overthink it. Don't be like, oh, what if this one doesn't work? What if that one doesn't work? No, it's your signals are there, you follow your rules, you follow your strategy, and you go. And by doing just one share at a time, it's like, okay, the stress is gone. Like, this doesn't have to be right, because even if I'm wrong, quote unquote wrong, if I get kicked out, my trailing stop is at 75 cents. So the most I can lose per trade is 75 cents. Uh, the Get Out man said, how old are you? How old do you think I am? It's my question. And then I'll tell you, I promise. So anyways, the thing that seems to really be helping me at this point, I've done 13 trades of the 20, by the way, over 3 days, is that I have it so structured, so systematized that I don't have to think much when I get into a trade. I'm just in it, leave it alone. I'm not playing with the stop. I leave the stop alone since it's trailing. And I look for the best opportunity to take a profit. So, yeah. I'm 41 going on 42. But I've been told I look like I'm in my 20s too, so I'll take it. Whatever. I don't think I look 50. I don't know. That feels a little bit insulting, but it's all good. Uh, with this idea of trading extremely small, some people might think, well, small for me is 10 shares, or small for me is 5 shares, or some people might be already trading at 100 shares and they think small, well, I'll drop half of that, 50 shares. To me, 50 is a lot. Like, I've traded 50 shares before, and those trades where they don't work out, even if it's not a lot of money, it still is to me right now, is a psychological damaging effect because I don't have enough wins to make up for some of those bigger losses. So that's one of the reasons too I decided to trade one share at a time, is because it's like it takes like the pressure of having to be right off, and I said I'm actually willing to just wait these 20 trades out. Most people aren't willing to do this, by the way. Most people will say, you know what, I'm got some money, I'm just going to start trading and I'm just going to do what I feel like. I'm not going to be patient like Amy is and do 20 trades buying one share per trade, because that'll take too long. What if I was right all those times and I didn't get but like $1, or 75 cents profit? Yeah, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. V says turning 51. Nice. Happy birthday. What's up, Nawarj? No, Naward. Yeah, hope I said that right. So anyways, where are you at? Like, what to you is trading small? Because for me as a beginner, this is month 4. I actually started jumping in the market. I want to say, well, initially I was buying whole shares of Tesla, for example. Initially I was buying anywhere from 5 to 15 shares of the full price of Tesla, which at the time was $300-400. And then I found out about ETFs that track these big name stocks, the Mag 7 and stuff. And I started trading the ETFs because you could get in for, 20, 30, $40 a share. And I liked that, it's just easier. And then I had to kind of backtrack my way. Like, I was successful, in the beginning, month 1, month 2, I was up, I was green. I wasn't making a lot of money, but, it was like, maybe one week make $100, next week maybe 150, 200. And then, fluctuate down to 40 or 50 or something. The frustration for me then was feeling like I was capping myself on profits, but in reality, I was not practicing good risk management at all. So that was on me, starting the wrong way. Yeah, it's easy when it's a bull market, right? Like you can pretty much bet and go in the right direction of probabilities. Yeah, Tesla has been very choppy. I'm kind of like, this is one of my favorite stocks to trade though, because I know it, because I've been trading it for like 4 freaking months. If you can pick 1 or 2, maybe 3 stocks that you are just like, I'm honing in on these because they're usually volatile enough to take momentum moves. I'm a momentum trader. If that's the kind of trader you are, then these are actually good things. However, when it does range, when it's chop and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's stuck like whatever, it does make it difficult, But I think too, if you can trade in these markets that are ranging and you don't even know at the open, like, is this going up or is this going down? I don't even have a freaking clue. If you can trade in those conditions, you can trade in any conditions, right? It's going to be so freaking easy when it goes back to eventually being a bull market. I mean, right now it's sort of in between a neutral to bear market. If you can deal with those conditions and you can actually make a profit, I mean, it's going to be so easy when it's bullish, right? Lena says, have you thought about live trading? Maybe when I get a bit more comfortable with like just performance and execution, I might do that. Yeah, right now it's I think it would detract too much of my focus on the market to try to like think about what I'm speaking and also be somewhat entertaining as I'm trading. So eventually, yeah, I might do that. What's up, War Edits? Morning from New Zealand. Oh, cool. What's up, Tay? He says, good tip to only trade a few same stocks all the time. Yeah, there's when I had that idea, which I didn't even realize I was doing. Guys, it took me, this is so silly. It took me going into my Schwab account, going into the history of my trades. And I only did this after like 6 or 7 weeks I'd been trading to look at what had been working and to have an aha moment, because apparently I wasn't paying very much attention, but to have an aha moment that most of my wins came from trading TSLR, which is an ETF that tracks Tesla going long. And like I said, I started like 4 months ago, so it was very bullish. Tesla was always going up. So it was like, yeah, go long on the ETF. And I was trading other things in that time, but that was the one that I was trading the most, and it was giving me the most wins. But it's like my memory had failed me. Like I had to go and look in my account and look at actual historical data to figure that out. So I encourage you, like, go into your trading account and see what am I trading in the last, 4 to 6 weeks that's actually working for me, and just kind of use that as a guidance of in the morning, like your watch list. That should be a priority to at least check. V says, I started looking into trading about 2 months ago, only doing paper money for now, trying to understand how everything works. Yeah, that's a good idea because there's a lot of things you could do wrong, not knowing what you're doing. A lot of things you could hit a wrong button, you could hit something that you didn't mean to hit and sell when you meant to buy and vice versa. I was familiar enough with Schwab's regular desktop platform, not Thinkorswim, but just the regular desktop, because I had a brokerage account that I put some long-term investments in. And so I kind of was familiar enough with like how to buy and sell in there. When I started doing it for day trading, it was like, okay, I felt really slow because, yeah, you need better execution without having to click a bunch of different things. And then when I started using a stop loss, it was like, oh gosh, there's other things I gotta do now, and think about. So I think, yes, that was another reason too, V, by the way, when I started to trade small, it gave me time and gave me experience to go into Thinkorswim and to try to figure out, okay, if I want to set up an OCO order, one cancels the other. Like, what do I got to do here? How do I actually put the things in the right place and actually get it to work? So I started practicing with one share doing that before I did this experiment, but doing that. And that helped me to just get comfortable with the platform. There was a couple times where I would hit something and it would immediately execute without a confirmation. And I'm like, oh geez, what did I just hit? And there's a checkbox on Thinkorswim that says auto send. At one time I had that on and I didn't realize it. And it was like, as soon as I hit buy, it was buying it. And I was like, wait, where's the confirmation? And then as soon as you hit sell, it was selling. And so I learned that meant, auto send, just click buy market or sell market is going to immediately execute. And it takes like, I think, time to just get into your platform. So yeah, it's trading with the one share thing has really helped me to learn how to actually do the simple mechanics, the simple mechanics of buying, putting a stop loss, learning what a trailing stop was and how that actually worked, putting in the sell price, and then even just getting to the point where I realized I needed like a 3-way order. So I usually now do buy, have a sell, take profit amount, limit order, and then have a trailing stop at a fixed amount. So for my experiment with the one share, I have a 75-cent trailing stop. And then I kind of just randomly put like $1 over what I bought in for take profit, and I'll move it later as needed. V says, not even sure I will ever trade for real. We'll lose 30 cents or so every dollar. Oh yeah, I'm converting Canadian dollars to USD. Yeah, in that scenario, I know I have several friends in Canada that are faced with that dilemma. It's like you can't even trade US stocks properly. So you're already starting negative. It's like having commission trading, which I don't see any need to pay for commission trading broker, It's like Just let me use a free one for now. But yeah, if you're stuck with that, the Canadian issue, I think your best option is to find an overseas broker where you don't have to worry about that. But I don't know like who you would use. I try to help my friend out, but like he's like, yeah, I can't do this, I can't do that, and I don't know. Move out of Canada. Like that might be your best bet. Matthew says, ever thought of joining a trading Discord? You mean like somebody else's Discord? I think I don't remember if I ever did. I don't think I'm in any day trading ones. I'm in like a couple investing ones, but yeah, I haven't joined up with anybody's like private one or anything like that. Like kind of at this point in my trading journey, I I am gathering a lot of information by watching YouTube videos, learning from a select group of people that I either trade similar to or feel like they've really helped me in my journey. And actually listed these YouTubers, by the way. I think I put it in the description, my day trading resources. It's a working Google Doc where I've kept track for you guys of all the stuff I follow, books I've read, things that have actually helped me get to month 4 and I'm still here. And that has been enough for me between the YouTubers and the books. I'm open to learning from a higher mentorship where you're paying somebody or I'm in a trading community or something like that at some point in time. Right now, I just haven't felt like I've found exactly who I want to go with. I considered Bear Bull Traders and I like Ross Cameron a lot. He's been really helpful to teach me the ways. But I kind of am like just not really ready to invest much more at this point other than what I've gotten in so far. However, I'm a big believer of like paying to learn. I've bought a bunch of books. I'm like actually using what I'm buying and I want to just keep doing that. But I think back to the main topic here of how to overcome these mental issues. Trading small takes off the pressure of money. And when you're not worried about the money, you can actually make decisions with a clear head. This is something else I've kind of noticed in the last 3 days is that I'm making decisions without the second guessing of, well, what if I lose X on this trade? Or even the thought of, well, I don't know when to take profit where it makes sense. Or what if I don't take profit when I should and then it turns on? Like that's kind of been eliminated from my thinking right now because it's just so freaking small, right? Matthew says, I found Trading Decoded here on YouTube. Been huge for me learning from a community of traders. Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't heard of them. But I have been watching most mornings, been watching Bear Bull Traders live. My favorite guys to watch on there is Andrew and Brian. But lately they've mixed up the scheduling and they didn't explain why. There's a couple other guys that are on there in the mornings now, which is cool. Like, it's just the reason I followed them initially was because Andrew trades very much like me, where he's trading the ETFs that track the big stocks, and he's a momentum trader. And Brian, he's similar, except he trades like options. So it just kind of felt like, oh, I'm trading with people that are doing kind of what I'm doing. And now, I don't know. V says, Ross is in a completely different league because of the money he invests. He's in a different mindset. I'd rather learn more from your vids than his. Thanks. He's great, though. I'm just not relating much. Yeah, I get that too. Like, actually, one of the reasons I think I even started doing this on YouTube and talking about day trading was because I was like, where's all the freaking videos of people who were like, day one, I just started day trading and I don't know what the frick I'm doing. Like nobody's willing to show that side of the journey. And it's kind of like, they really should. I appreciate and I'm glad to learn from people who are very successful. Like, cool. Like, yeah, I want to know what are the potentials when you get really good? What's in store for me potentially, But either one, these gurus decide when they get big enough that they start hiding their YouTube videos. Because I guarantee you, if you watch somebody who, their first video, you go to their oldest, their first video, they got more than 5 or 10,000 views on it. They're hiding videos. They're hiding the ones that they started, who knows when their channel started. A lot of them, or they never started creating content to begin with at the beginning. Like there's a couple people I can think of that I did kind of go back and see how old their channel was and when they started making videos. And it corresponded, but they're jumping in saying, hey, this is my first video and I've been trading for 5 years. Well, that's not as helpful for me. Like, I would rather, like V said, I would rather watch people that are kind of just ahead of you on the journey that you can learn from. Because I can tell you this, somebody like Ross, as great as he is and helpful as he is, and I go back and watch his old stuff too, he is not going to remember what he was trading like when he was like 1 month in, 5 months in, a year in. He's giving you stories of what's in his memory bank, but he started trading like freaking 20 years ago. So I'm sure he's missing some key points that he could have brought up if he was like starting from scratch. Here I am, just getting going. Here's what I was thinking today. Here's where I went wrong today. It's like, it's not as easy to learn from those people in that regard. As I get better, great, like Russ, teach me all these moves and the VWAP and the squeeze and how to get in. But yeah, when you're first starting, it's kind of like, oh, who can I relate to? V said, it's funny you said that. I was actually hoping to find someone who's just starting. So I'm glad I found you. Well, I'm glad you found me too, V. Glad to have you here. And everybody too that's watching, appreciate it. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for supporting and just commenting. Y'all have been really awesome with the comments because I've been on YouTube for a hot minute and I've done videos in the past on other niches, business ideas and things. And it's like you want the engagement. You want people to be communicating. And I think day trading is such it's such a challenging mental journey that you can't help but bond with other people that are doing it because how hard it is. All the battles that you have to go through and you're not alone. And I think for day traders, that's really important because most of the time you're sitting at your computer, doing your trades in isolation. There's nobody in the office. There's no office. And you're just kind of you in the markets. And it can be very isolating sometimes. Matthew says, keep up the great work, though. Been awesome watching your journey. Thank you. Yeah, and y'all let me know too, like where are you in your journey? Like how long have you been trading? And I mean, how long have you been trading consistently? Because some people will say, yeah, I've been trading for 5 years, but I quit for 2 and I came back. No, how long have you been trading consistently? Because I'm consistent for 4 months. Philip says the same. I've been trading for 4 months too, and lots of people don't use indicators. I mainly use indicators and they help every day. VWAP, RSI, MACD. Yeah, that's actually the exact same 3 that I started with very beginning. And then I kind of was like, I feel like RSI isn't really helping me and it's cluttering my chart. So I got rid of that one, just me personally. But I started to add the 9 EMA line because a lot of times I saw stocks retracing either up above it or down below. And that one kind of just made sense as a day trader. Like the 9 EMA was a helpful one. And then I've used more and more. I've used the MACD, like you were saying. That's really helpful when you see price action sometimes, and it can kind of skew your thinking of like, oh, it's the price seems like it's driving down. But then you look at the MACD and it's like pointing up, like straight up, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, just chill, right? and vice versa, if you're going in the opposite direction, trying to short, and the MACD is pointing straight down, but the price action might look like it wants to go up. It's like, just be patient, just be cool, it's follow trend right now. Matthew says 2 years, still just single options. Okay, cool. I mean, 2 years, like that's impressive. I think if you can even last a year without giving up and taking a break. And by break, I don't mean like a day or a week or even a month. I mean like you take a break for 3 months or 4 months. But the people that stick it out and are consistent, I think is a lot to be said for that because you're like, I really want this. I really am in it to win it. Philip says RSI helps when you go long. If the stock hits the 50 line, stays above, then you can follow it up and know the stock still is strong. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense too. And Philip, are you just doing day trading? You said trading, so I didn't know. Are you doing swing trading as well? I think for swing trading, RSI is really helpful because then you're kind of catching the overall sentiment of the market with that particular stock. But anyways, yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop them in. Like I said, I've been doing this this month for. I started too big and have scaled back in order to refine my strategy and to actually see if my strategy was a real strategy. As a momentum trader, I look for opportunities where the stock can go up a few dollars or down a few dollars. And so with like something like Tesla, the range has shortened. It used to be you could get an average true range on Tesla from anywhere from easily $10 a day to like $30 a day. Now you can see Tesla's average true range has really shrunk. Not to say it doesn't sometimes hit $20 or something, but it's throughout the trading day, especially in the tighter pockets, as I like to trade the first hour, hour and a half of the open, you can see that the range is smaller. So it does kind of really test your mettle if you're a momentum trader and you can actually come out green in these tighter ranges, because then it really says, okay, I'm getting in and I'm getting out at the right times if I'm profiting. Philip says day trading to dumb to swing trade. Gotcha. You know what sucks? Stocks were perfect in November when we started and just got worse mid-February. I know. Well, I kind of saw things changing end of December. And I follow a guy named Gareth Soloway on YouTube. He's really helpful. He's really knowledgeable about the charts and the technical analysis and the trend lines. And he's like spot on, because back then he said, look at this high on the S&P. And at the time it was getting close to 6,100. And he was like, if it tags it and we bounce or it rejects, look out. Confirmation, but look out. And he was dead on the money, and it has not come back up to that level or close. We just continuously floated or gone down, right? And at that time, I remember thinking, I got to get better at my strategy because I'm going to have to learn how to go short. Like, that was my thinking. I was reading Stan Weinstein's book, How to Profit in Bull or Bear Markets, Secrets to Profiting in Bull or Bear Markets. And there was a kind of thinking in my brain of like, oh, I don't want to short. I don't like shorting things. I like to think positive and I like to go long and everything. And I didn't like the idea of shorting either, because then it meant I had to do margin and stuff like that. And I didn't want to have to do the $25,000 PDT rule and all that nonsense. Trade from a cash account. So what I ended up finding though was the ETFs that you could go short on because they were bearish. So like for Tesla, there's TSLQ, which is the inverse of Tesla. So when Tesla is going up, TSLQ is down. When Tesla is going down, TSLQ is up. So once I figured that out, I was like, oh, okay, now I have options here of other things to trade in this seemingly bearish market. And it's not every day, of course, that, Tesla's going to go down. So sometimes I'm trading it long, but I'm in those day trades where I can catch the move. And I talked about it. You'll see this video come out on Saturday. But I talked about today's trade where I went long on the open on Tesla and I immediately got the pivot and went short right after that. So it's kind of funny. You can go both ways right now. And it really makes sense too, because if you're in a choppy market, there's going to be opportunities either way. What goes up comes down. What's down and beaten is going to probably float up a little. Would I go long in terms of like a long-term investment on these stocks? No. And I can tell you that from personal experience, being in the hole, holding shares of Tesla I shouldn't have held, but that's another story. Philip says, I have no clue how to short. Are you only going to short for now? So I just, like I said, I choose those ETFs that are bearish. So you can actually find, Apple has them, Meta has them, Netflix has them. You can short the QQQ, you can short, the S&P. Just go on like ChatGPT and ask it to give you bearish ETFs or inverse ETFs for whatever ticker you're looking for. And most of the time for the big names, you'll find something to trade. And that's how I go short. So really, technically I'm going long on that ETF, but it's shorting Tesla, or it's shorting Meta, or it's shorting Netflix, or Nvidia. There's one for Nvidia. So I'm not only shorting. No, no, I go both ways. Like whatever opportunity is there because of my strategy being a momentum trader, if I see momentum in one direction, I go in that direction. You know, I'm not trying to fight the general trend. You know, one day it'd be cool to be a good reversal trader. I just don't feel like I'm ready for that. Like you have to be really convinced and have, you know, accurate probabilities in place of trying to catch those pivots where, you know, you're reversing. Now, today I was kind of lucky, I think. I just followed my usual, you know, watching the chart, watching the MACD, watching some price action. I'd trying to kind of teach myself to be a bit of a tape reader as well and just kind of monitor price action because I share in the video and you'll see it. I think this is the one dropping tonight that my, I don't want to say ability, but by watching price action the other day on Tesla, it gave me confirmation of when to get in because I told myself if I see it drop from this price to this price, even if it bounces right back up, I know that we're getting to a new low. So I prefer to watch the ticker tape in the sense of seeing that price action versus trying to monitor all the little areas on the chart with the candles and everything. Sometimes it just helps me to look at the price. And that's actually exactly how I got started and how I feel like I actually started on the right foot with day trading. Was I was watching price action and the 1 minute chart, which now I watch the 1 minute and the 5 minute chart. But in the beginning, when it was easier and you knew like if Tesla was looking green in the pre-market, it was gonna shoot up at the open. Like that was just like it was almost a guarantee in November and December that if it was green in the pre-market, you were gonna get that shooting up candle and boom, I'd be out of my trade. I'd be out 1 to 3 minutes after the open. Like it was great. But now it's so risky. You just don't know. You're a buy trader. Yeah, exactly. I go both ways. I mean, Stan Weinstein really helped me to see this and go look him up. Like his book is amazing. It's old, but it's amazing. He was like, I'm going to win either way. I'm going to win if the market has conditions for me to go long, or I'm going to win if the market is looking bearish and I want to short it. Like I'm going to be playing the market regardless of what the sentiment is because there's opportunities everywhere. And also watching Gareth Soloway helped me with that as well because his thinking's a little bit different. He's actually talking sometimes about stocks in the morning, like, for example, JP Morgan. I had their shares for a long time. I think I had bought them back in like 2012, 2013, and held them for like 5 to 7 years, sold some along the way. Went up from 60 some dollars a share to like 240 or some crazy number. And I'd always thought of it as a go long stock, you know. And then he said, okay, watch this stock because it's starting to tumble. And I saw it was like hitting like 280 as its high recently. And then sure enough, dead right. And I got out at like the 260s. So I was like, okay, I'm glad I got out. And it just started tumbling. And I'm like, oh, interesting. And then all of a sudden, first he's saying like, oh, I would not own this stock right now. Then all of a sudden today and yesterday, he's like, you know, I would buy at the 221, 222, 223 level if it gets there. And I'm like, wait a minute. But then I remember he's a swing trader. He's not holding any of these positions like for very long, you know, swing trading, maybe a couple days, couple weeks. But it changed my thinking of like, well, here's this stock dropping. Why would I go long? No, you would wait for it to hit a bottom that made sense on a technical support level. And there's a lot of support for JPM on 221, 222. And then you would go long. So even though the stock is beaten down, it's it's dropped from freaking, like I said, 280 to like 220s. And I think today it's floated up to 232. But it just really helped me to understand, like, this is how a person who does this professionally actually thinks. They look for the opportunity. They're not looking to keep anything. And they're also not letting their own emotions about that company get in the way. Like me personally, I would never own a Tesla. Never, never, never. I do not like electric cars. I was in one time and my friend was like, "Do you want to drive it?" And I was like, "Heck no. This thing doesn't even make sense to me. I don't even know how to put it in gear." Like, give me a simple, you turn the key and you move the gear shifter and I just go. Like, I don't want to have to learn how to drive all over again. So, never would own a Tesla. Is it like the best trading opportunity for a day trader? In my opinion, yes. And I have no sentiment about holding shares or buying and selling it or going long or going short. It's like when you let go of these preconceived things about a company, you can trade anything, right? Philip says, I want to short, but I don't want to learn just yet, maybe in a month or two if things get worse. Yeah, and just think about it too, Philip, if you're day trading, you're not holding stuff, right? You're liquid. You're out at the end of the day at the max, right? Me personally, I don't even like to hold past the first 2 hours of the market unless I see some weird playing out action later in the day. I might jump in at that point, maybe. Typically, I don't, but occasionally I have traded the last hour. It's just it's the liquidity can be weird sometimes. So yeah, I mean, fully respect that. You don't want to take on too much. If you are paper trading at all, though, you could play around with those ETFs that I mentioned. Off the top of my head, NVDS is short for NVIDIA. AAPD, I believe, is the short for Apple. Don't quote me. It's usually the ones that are by Direxion, I think is the name. And then there's trying to think what TSLQ. Yeah, there's these certain companies that actually like specialize in this area. So those are the ones. Now keep in mind, when I say go short and you go long, right, on these ETFs that are inverse, don't hold them too long. If you are a swing trader, don't hold the ETFs too long that are inverse or even the ones that are long, because they are leveraged and they have like a decay. It's I don't know a lot about options, but I would say it's kind of similar to the decaying of an options trade where, say you buy TSLQ, you want to go short on Tesla and you're like, I'm going to short it for the whole freaking month, right? Or 2 months. And you get in, you're going to notice that it doesn't monitor and mirror the stock precisely. It fluctuates. So one day you might get in at, say, $56 on TSLQ, shorting Tesla, and Tesla's at 225. And then you're like, oh, cool. Tesla then drops to like 215. You think, oh, I'm going to be like so in the money on TSLQ. And you will be up. But let's say you held it for like 1 or 2 months. You're going to notice that your price is not as great if you had gotten out sooner. And you will also pay commissions on some of these ETFs. Because I hold them for such short periods of time, and because right now I'm buying 1 share at a time, it's like 1 to 2 cents. But say you bought like 100 shares and you held it for a long time, keep in mind it will cost you more in the expenses to actually hold that. So if you're swing trading, I would say, maybe consider, instead of the ETFs like I day trade, do the actual stock just to avoid that slippage kind of your money. Philip says, never paper trade. I do 1 share like you do to test the trade in real conditions. Yeah. And guys, the whole point of like why I jumped on this live, I really encourage you to find whatever the number is of shares or dollars into the market. I try not to even look at actually how many dollars I've put in the market. Like, I don't think, oh, I bought 1 share of NVIDIA and it's $120 now sitting in this account. No, I look at what's my potential risk. So with 1 share and my trailing stop of 75 cents, potential max loss is 75 cents. But let's say you've been trading for a while and you're like, well, I get the point, Amy, but I don't need to go down to 1 share. Like, that's kind of silly. But you've been trading 100 shares, 200 shares. Consider dropping down, especially if you've had a string of losses, consider dropping down to 25% of that, or 50%, 75%. If you've really had a heck of a time, maybe you just had a really big loss, go down 75% of what you normally trade. So if you're trading 100 shares, go down to 25. And notice the instant difference of how you feel when you're not stressed about that next trade. 'Cause that was the turning point for me, was realizing if I dropped down share size so much that it didn't stress me out anymore to jump in the trade, awesome, like, woohoo. Um, V says, ever thought to invest a few hundreds in a trading bot and let it run 24/7? Yeah, I think with all this like AI stuff, helping us out these days, it's tempting. I definitely use ChatGPT a lot in terms of research and helping me find tradable levels. Like, actually, I'm starting to get into a habit of asking for help in the morning to just to be quicker. Not necessarily like I'm trying to be a poor trader, but just to be quicker with my research. Saying, "Hey, chat, give me day trading levels for Tesla, for Nvidia, for SMCI, for Palantir. Like, give me the levels. Like, where's the resistance? Where is the support? What was the close yesterday?" And I use it for that reason. But to automate it, I just, you guys know the markets are random. Like, you could automate everything and you could still lose a lot of money, right? You could be like, well, if this condition happens, then do this, then do that. But I like the idea of actually learning the skill. And that's why I got started, because I was like, this is a fun way to earn money. And I feel like in being an entrepreneur for like the last 10 years almost, I've done a lot of things just for money that weren't necessarily fun. And now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. Philip says, I started with 40 shares and bought 40 more as it goes down for the quick pop up and a quick gain. Yeah. If you are comfortable averaging or like sizing up or sizing down, I think if you're going to add to your position, and I've done this before personally, so I'm actually speaking from experience. I've done it both ways. I've averaged down and I've averaged up. Now, from Ross Cameron's teaching, I learned averaging up. You scale into a trade versus trying to average down, because he usually says those ones just don't work out. And I'm in the same boat. They usually don't work out. You're down in the hole more. So I have in the past scaled up. Like, I used to buy, say, 20 or 25 shares of TSLR, and then I'd watch for some movement up, decide, okay, it went up 20 cents, 10 cents, 15 cents, and I would put in another 25, because I really wanted to buy 50, but I thought, well, if I can actually get, confirmation before I go all in, that's great. Right now, because I'm working on just minimizing the mental issues of fear of losing money, fear of being wrong, fear of missing out, hesitation, overtraining, all these mental things I'm working on overcoming, I've decided to stay away from that. But believe you me, there's times where I'm like, oh my gosh, if I had gotten in, I'm up $1 a share, I'm up 75 cents a share. I'm like, dang, I wish I could have just thrown another 10 shares in there, another 20. But I'm doing this experiment. I'm disciplined to stick it out, 20 trades, 1 share a piece, 75-cent trailing stop, try to get as much profit as we can. Done. Like, discipline is the name of the game here. But good for you if you can do that. Yeah, Philip says, never let a robot place your trades. I know, right? V says, when you say trading levels, you mean the buy and sell price for the stocks you plan to trade that day? Yeah, kind of. More like technical levels. Like, let's say, for example, this morning, Tesla, I think, was trading pre-market like 242, something like that, 243. And it was sort of floating up. And I'm looking for the range. So I'm looking to ask chat, okay, what's a potential like drop compared to maybe say, and I think sometimes I ask it, I say, look at the last 5 days of data. What's a potential low we might see? What's a potential bottom that's kind of close to where we've been? And mentally, I knew that it had recently gotten to like 221 or 222, but I was like, that's too far from where it's at right now. Like, that's really not a day tradable level for me at this time. And Tesla gave me a next support level, and I think it was like 238 or something like that. And then I said, well, what's the other end of the range of the spectrum? And I think mentally, I kind of knew, because I watch the stock every day. I kind of knew it was around 249 and some change, because resistance was at 250. The last few days, every time if it ever got to 250, it would bounce and reject. So sure enough, that's pretty much kind of what chat had told me. And I think even this morning, it actually gave me a level of like 244 or 245. Yeah, as like a, this might be resistance as well. So it's helpful to ask it like a range of where I might be able to trade because I'm a momentum trader that gives me like the ability to look at the chart and say, okay, where is it right this moment in time? If Tesla's at 244, I'm probably not going to go long if I think the resistance is at 245, right? Like that's not going to work for my strategy. If Tesla was over 245 and it was approaching 246 and going up, which it did right before the open, that's when I went long. Because I'm like, oh, we passed the resistance, right? Like, okay, cool. And then as soon as it was getting to 250 was when I reversed and I went short. Because I'm like, oh, now it's in resistance, and the chance now for the move to go the other way, I've got somewhere between 249 down to 245-ish again. So at least I knew there's a couple dollars to play with. And that's what I've been using chat for, is just help me find kind of these technical places. I don't draw on my chart, and I just use I started using the Bollinger Bands to kind of just help me see the range visually. That kind of helps when you're trying to make quick decisions of whether to get in or out. I mean, if you have to think too much of like, okay, Tesla's at 247. What was my range again? But you look at the chart and you just see, okay, here's the bands, right? And of course, it can, at any point in time, it can go way outside the band, it can go way below it. Like, that is not a hard stop rule by any means. But it gives you that thought of like, is it worth taking this trade? Is it even worth it? And a couple of times this week, as I started doing this experiment of the 20 trades, a couple of times I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, like I should not get in right now. Even though I want to, I should not get in. What's up, Dre? AI is still programmed by a human strategy, so if it's not tested and proven for various conditions, it doesn't make a difference, win or lose. Yeah, exactly. And I think Ross Cameron actually did a video about like using ChatGPT or some AI to help him trade. And it was like losing money. So it's like, yeah, it's still a human based tool. It's infallible, right? It's not like going to work all the time. That would be awesome. But you got to figure too, if we had that tool, there would be very few day traders because the markets everybody would know everybody's move. Like, it would be too predictable, and then your chances of like coming in and taking not to be a jerk, but coming in and taking someone else's money, you know, are diminished because then everybody knows what to do, and then there's no liquidity and there's no volume, and then it's just sitting there. Yeah, no problem, V, with that. Never thought of that. Good tip. Cool. So, guys, yeah, I mean, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate y'all joining. Feel free to check out the channel. I got, more videos coming on the day trading. And tonight, what time is it? 12:30. Okay, so in like 5 hours, 5.5 hours, about 6 Eastern, I've got day 2 of my 20 trades experiment dropping. Then tomorrow, Saturday, I think I set it for noon my time, which is like 9 a.m. Eastern. So day 3 will show up there. It's been very illuminating to do this experiment because you can easily track data. When you do things the same way every time, it's much easier to track and to measure. Like, years ago, I heard Brian Tracy, he said, what gets tracked gets measured. And the only way to improve is to measure your results, right? So this has helped me a lot, just having actual consistency in my trading instead of opening the computer every morning being like deer in headlights, like, oh, should I jump in? I don't know. Like, is it going long? Do I go short? Taking away all that fear of money and overthinking and hesitation. So if you're kind of in that boat like I was, go down to one share. So, just take a day. That's what I told myself when I first started doing this. I said, let me just take one day to stop trading normally and just go to practice mode and do one share and just monitor what happens that day. Don't worry like, oh, I miss out because I could have made X dollars and I was only trading one share. Don't worry about any of that. Just do it for your mental health. Just take one day. I encourage you, just take one day and try to get in if you can. The opportunity is there. 1, 2, or 3 trades. And watch the difference in your trading because you'll see it. So Philip says, were you up today or down? Yeah, well, I talk about it on Saturday's video, but I was down And I could have walked away at 100% win rate, but I went for more trades. And I was like, why did I do that? you know, but you're down $300. That sucks. Yeah, can get it next week. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're within that risk management, who cares about the money, right? Who cares? It's just do what feels comfortable to you and doesn't hold you back from taking that next trade. When I realized I was being held back from jumping into my next trade because I was thinking in the back of my mind of all the trades that didn't work out, and I was worrying, what if this one doesn't work out too? That's when I started to mess up. And that's when I said, I got to take a step back and I got to do something different in order to get on track mentally. Thanks, Dre. Really look forward to seeing your growth. Stay on the road. Take on the journey. All that overthinking, etc., will be minimized someday once you find that sweet spot. Yes, yes. 100%. And I kind of feel like even just like what I've done this week has increased my confidence so much. I'm just proud of myself. I'm just proud of myself for being willing to put the time in to trade so small, even though I know I could have made money this week. I could have made like actual dollars in my bank account. But the goal was to refine my system and to really eliminate the mental barriers. And it's working. So it's worth it to me. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I can't do that. That's too small. I don't trade like that. And that's fine. If you're in a place where you're good to go, great. But you ever fall back, something to consider. Like my one just suggestion, one day you just say, I'm just going to trade one share and see what happens. Philip says, me to never go back when you're up. Yeah, I know. Dude, I know. Like I knew it. As soon as I got into the third trade, I'm like, I didn't have to take this, I broke my rule number 1, never break your rules. Yeah, like Warren Buffett, rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, see rule number 1. Like, hello, I could have walked away in a different place, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all a learning experience. All right, guys, if you want to know some of the people I follow, books I've read, things like that, you can check the link in the description of this live, and I'll try to post in the comments later if I can. Free day trading resources, you just put in your email and then you can have access to the doc. I'm updating that as I go. So if I find new stuff, I'll put it in there for you. So anyways, Divad says, what do you do when you're not trading? I ride motorcycles, and I used to have a dirt bike. And can you sense a theme here? High thrills. Yeah. I've always been different. I used to skateboard when I was young. Actually still have my skateboard. I like to snowboard. Haven't done it in a long time. I read a lot. I'm very much into personal development. I have some online businesses that is my income, for right now. And definitely the goal with trading, it's not right here goal. It's like back here goal is to make that pay for most everything, because there's such control, such freedom with day trading. Like, I don't want to depend on XYZ platform to make sure I'm bringing in X dollars online. It's like, I do a lot of stuff on Amazon. I'm like, you know what? I don't like it controlling my money. I'm kind of done with that. Yeah. Shoot guns. Yeah. Actually, Philip, I used to have a country property. I had 38 acres in the Ozark Mountains in Missouri when I was married. And I had a nice 40 Smith & Wesson. I used to actually practice with a BB gun. But yeah, I sold all that, sold my property, sold my house, got divorced, moved to Nevada. I'm in Vegas now. It's Vegas. And it was exactly what I needed at the right time. And I don't think I would have even gotten into day trading living in Missouri because the internet service was so bad. Like, we had switched to satellite at one point, but it was marginally better than the cable. Yeah, it was rough out there. Yep, thank you. All right, guys, take care. Happy weekend. Be sure to catch the video dropping tonight at 6 o'clock Pacific. Pacific? Oh gosh, I don't even know. I get messed up on my time zones. I think it's 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern PM, and then I got my day 3 episode coming out Saturday morning. So take care.